All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, you already know what time it is, and right here, right now, we actually got a phenomenal artist right here live on the line. We got the one and only Kyle Rifkin, who was also a part of Season 3 of America's Got Talent. How are you doing this evening?
I'm good, man. I can't complain. I'm taking it easy.
I gotta say, man, best way, man. Summer's here, and it's good to hear that COVID stuff is done and over with, man, and people can travel and get back to doing shows and events, man. I'm super pumped. 2 years, way too soon.
Yes, man. We got the tourist dates already coming in. We're set back to hit the road with the I Love the '90s tour, so we're excited about that. Get to see our friends on a regular basis. It was like being in high school all over again, seeing these guys every single week.
And also, I know you're a busy guy, Cal, so I'm going to dive right into this interview, but I got to take you back to the beginning of your amazing career this far, and I have to ask first and foremost, man, what originally made you decide to pursue a career in music, man, because you were such a gifted artist?
I appreciate that, man. I initially wanted to be a football player, and I was in high school playing football, and I was going to pursue that to go into college. And that's when I met my boy Rob Bass. I could always sing, but I didn't want to sing, take it serious. But I realized girls liked it more. It was easy to get girls. I decided to go with it. I didn't really want to take it serious. I just wanted to get girls. I didn't care about actually making a living off of it. So it was really an accident. It wasn't planned at all.
And also, as well, man, in the year 2006, you actually released the 15-track album titled Hell Up in Harlem. I was wondering, can you tell our listeners a bit more about this earlier release project? And of course, is it actually still indeed available to be streamed or purchased today?
Yes, it's still available. It's on iTunes. You just simply type in Kyle Rifkin, and you'll see a bunch of release music come up, or you can type in Kyle Rifkin, Hell Up in Harlem, and the whole album come up. It was produced by DJ Assassin, who also was best known for producing tracks for the Humpty Hump, Digital Underground, Tupac Shakur, Outlaws, West Side Connection. He's a pretty big platinum producing producer, and I recorded the album with him. I actually went out to Turlock, California, and I stayed at his house for 2 months, and we recorded that album. And they took me, and I got a record deal with the album. Probably about 30 minutes into the meeting, they offered me a record deal.
By the sounds of it, they definitely enjoyed what they heard on that album, man. But it is a DJ King Assassin production, so truthfully, you can't go wrong. You definitely chose the right producer for the job, man. Such a tremendous project.
Absolutely, man. He did a great job. We spent many sleepless nights, man, working on that project, put it together. And we had an unreleased Mac Dre that was going to be on the album, but we didn't get the clearance from the family in time for them to get it on there. So we ended up just using a version that we had with a rapper named Mac Mall from West Coast also.
And I have to ask, is that verse still kind of in the? So is it, So is it still in the Cal Rifkin vault?
Yeah, I still have it. I didn't release it because of respect out of the family and knowing I didn't get it cleared. I never released it because they would know it's either me or Assassin that released it. No one else had the version of it. So I'm not really in the business to practice being sneaky or shady. I never had the permission, so I simply just held on to it and never released it.
And I got to say, that's definitely respect, but it's also cool as well to actually have a piece of work just for yourself as well, just knowing that no one else has heard it except for yourself and Assassin, and of course, whoever you played it for in your home.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. You know, today's rappers, I'm a New York cat, the East Coast, and they don't really understand the magnitude of what Mac Mall was. A lot of West Coast artists, they don't understand the magnitude of it. It's just kind of having your own little piece of gold you could just keep looking at or listening to. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing.
And if you don't mind me asking, how did yourself and Mac get connected? And of course, what was it like just working on that project with him?
Well, I didn't know Mac Dre personally because he passed away at that time. But Mac Mall, Assassin was the one that put us all together. He's the one that put us together. He put South Central Connection together. He put Outlaws together with me. He put Gonzo with me. He's the one that introduced him with everybody that became part of the project. So it was really his doing. When he took me out there, he just had me come into the studio with people. We sat around, and we just, vibed. Everybody was vibing. Crazy story is, he had me in the studio for like 6 hours with this rock group, and I had no idea who the group was. And it turns out the group was the Gorillas. And I didn't like their music, so I was not interested in trying to pitch myself on any projects, and I had no idea who they were. And we spent 6 hours in the studio, man. And when I realized it was the Gorillas probably 3 or 4 months later. But like, I didn't even know who they were. I never heard of them before. Had no idea who they were. I didn't know they was like so damn big. And we had such a great vibe, man. You would have thought we were the best of friends in there, because they always did the releases with just cartoons and puppeteers and stuff, so you never knew what people really were.
And while we're still on the topic of 2006 and, of course, King Assassin, I noticed as well that you actually had the opportunity to actually do some posthumous work on one of Tupac's projects, Machiavelli of the Dawn, The Way He Wanted It, Book 1 and Book 2. I was wondering, can you tell us a bit more about that? And, of course, what was it like just having your hand actually in a remix of Ghetto Gospel?
That came with the approval of Pac's mom knew about it, Pac's aunt knew about it, and Mo Preem knew about it, because Mo Preem was the one that went to Assassin and said, I want to get this guy to sing a project with me. What happened is, while we was in the middle of just putting some ideas together, Pac's aunt died, and Mo Preem came to Assassin and said, yo, I want to get Kyle to do this tribute song for me, with me for my aunt. And so I did it, and the mom liked it and stuff like that, and I built a rapport with those guys, and we just kept working together. We did other projects together, and Assassin had the unreleased deal, so he just was like, hey, man, I'm just going to put you on the Way He Wanted It project. So I did actually 1 and 2 albums on that on that project.
And also, as well, as we already know, you are most known for actually being on Season 3 of America's Got Talent. I was wondering if you can actually tell our listeners a bit more about that experience. And, of course, how did that opportunity originally land for you, man? Because that's America's Got Talent. That's a national television show simulcasted all over the world.
When I got on the show, I was already touring. I was, as I was mentioning, my best friend is Rob Bass. I was already touring, working with him. We've been friends since 1989. And I got on the show because I was feeling very competitive, and the opportunity came up for me to do the show. The manager said, hey, man, you should do this television show. And I was kind of against the reality stuff, but I ended up doing it, and I ended up doing Top 20 in Season 3. I got off of the show, and then I ended up being a wild card, getting back on the show. There was some really weird stuff. It was a little disappointing. It turned into more of a, not really a talent show, more of an entertainment TV show. So I kind of lost my spirit for wanting to be a part of it. And the weird thing is, when I went, I didn't realize they asked me to pretend that I won the $1 million and pretend I lost the $1 million the very first day I went to Vegas. And I was like, how do I pretend I won the $1 million if this is a competition? And then as I was there, going on, moving forward, I realized, damn, this is not a real competition. This is not like I thought it would be. And it kind of broke my spirits. I became disappointed with a lot of stuff. And I just wrote it out. It was a good show. They treated me nice. They would never treated me unkind. But it just wasn't as true to the element as people think it was.
And I gotta say as well, man, because I remember actually watching you on television, because I used to watch like American Idol and Canadian Idol when we had it hit down here in Canada, and all those shows. And I remember that you actually sang, I think it was a Boys to Men song, if I'm not mistaken. It was I'll Make Love to You, man. I gotta say, you absolutely blew that performance out of the water, man. And the fact that you didn't get enough votes, I literally said to myself, that is absolute bullshit. Excuse my language, but it definitely was, man. You definitely deserve to win that.
What people didn't realize is, when we signed the agreement to do the show, they said we would have rehearsals, we would have monitors, we would have in-ear monitors or stage monitors, and we get to rehearse. They never did none of those things when we got to the TV show. They put us in this big, giant stadium-like space where the acoustics was out of this world, and the delay was like, you say one word, and it'd take like a couple seconds for the word to reach the back of the stadium. It was like one of those type of arenas. And it all was just awkward. So there was no monitors, no rehearsal. I really couldn't even hear myself. So I was struggling with some of the keys, kept getting the right pitch. And it turned out okay, but it started turning for the worse when I was losing my sense of direction with the song, when I realized too much acoustics was taking place, too much echo was taking place. And as I said, I just kind of got discouraged with it. It just, it didn't turn out to be, they didn't do exactly what I thought they would do. So it discouraged me. And it is my fault. I own up to it. I just couldn't pull it through with the end of it. But the ratings were phenomenal. I made some money off of it, so no harm, no foul. It just wasn't what I thought it was initially.
And before we move off that topic, I remember that season as well. The host was actually the one and only Jerry Springer. I have to ask, man, what was it like just being able to chop it up with Jerry Springer? Like, what was he like, obviously behind the camera?
Jerry is super dope, man. He jokes a lot. He's talkful. I got a chance to introduce him to my mom, and him and my mom sat backstage, and they were talking for like probably a good 30, 40 minutes. And I looked over, and I'm like, my mom is really just having a laughing ball with Jerry Springer. I don't know what the hell they were talking about. They just was having a great time talking, and he gave me some really great advice for me to apply with my life. And we stayed in contact via email. He gave me his phone number, but I never texted him, I never called him. I just sent him emails, and we would correspond with emails, just saying hi. I would literally just shoot him happy birthdays when his birthday came, happy holidays, Christmas, and all those type of things. But I never called him. I didn't really see the reason to call, other than just extend my friendship, my expression of friendship by continuously sending emails and keeping in contact and wishing him the best during holidays. But he was an awesome dude. And David Hasselhoff was awesome, too. We actually hung out one night, and it was just amazing. It was a dream come true, man. That's Knight Rider. So I was, like, in awe, sitting there, in Vegas with Knight Rider while he's gambling, and we all just talking crap, joking, taking photos, hanging out. It was a really, really great experience, man.
And I'm going to say, man, if that's not living the dream, I don't know what else is, man. That definitely sounds like a dream come true for any artist.
Right, absolutely, I agree.
And also as well, man, in the year 2008, you were actually featured on Havoc the Rhyme Son of South Central Cartel's album titled Rhyme Son on the song We Be Smokin'. I was wondering if you could actually tell us the story behind that collaboration, and of course, how did yourself and Havoc originally get connected?
We got connected through DJ Assassin. I didn't know. I knew who he was and what group he was with, but I never met him. And Assassin was the one. He's solely responsible for politicking me into friendships with a lot of the West Coast cats, Each 40s and stuff like that. He's completely responsible for that, because I had no idea who a lot of them were sometimes, and I didn't know the magnitude of how magnificent these artists were. And he was the one that really is responsible for putting us all together and getting the vibe and really getting along.
And I have to ask as well, growing up and whatnot, just in New York, did you ever get the opportunity to kind of hear South Central Cartel at all? Because I do know back in the day, a lot of the West Coast music didn't really make it over to the East Coast unless someone actually brought it with them.
Absolutely, I knew who South Central Cartel was. I knew Big Sight, Havoc. I knew who they were. I knew Outlaws. I knew who King T was, Razzcast. I knew a lot of the West Coast artists way back in the 1989 and 90, I knew who those artists were. I listened to a vast array of music, and so I knew exactly who they were. I definitely was familiar with them. I couldn't name all of their songs, but I knew the names. I knew some of their particular songs, the big songs. So I definitely was no stranger to whom these artists were.
And also as well, April 30th of 2011, man, you actually released my personal favorite album by you, titled Showtime. I was wondering, what is the story and inspiration behind this phenomenal, iconic album? Because I gotta say, it's such a phenomenal project.
The inspiration behind that is I started to adapt a much more soulful, old soul sound. I was gonna bend and go toward the bubblegum pop music stuff, but it wasn't really what I really was about. And I did a birthday party. I did the last birthday party for James Brown at the Apollo Theater. And I sang Happy Birthday to him, and I performed a song that's his favorite called A Change Gonna Come by Sam Cooke. I sang that song, and he came downstairs from the dressing room, and he hugged me, and he just said, man, when you sang that song, I thought Sam Cooke was alive again. He said, you did a magnificent job. You should really embody that sound, you and own that sound. He said that soulful sound is you. You're not a fake about it. You a real deal about it. And that was the inspiration for me to just do the Showtime, because it was inspired based off the Apollo, Showtime at the Apollo. And it was just one of the greatest moments of my entire life to get that compliment from someone like James Brown. So it was all inspired from him.
And also as well, I know we're jumping ahead in the timeline here a little bit, but immediately following this interview, I'm actually going to be playing a song, one of your songs titled "Let's Get It," that was actually released October 25th of 2018. For the listeners that haven't had the opportunity to already listen to the song, what can they expect from it when I play it here momentarily live on the Canadian FM dial?
It's a hip hop song. It's definitely a hip hop song. It's got a groove. It's got a nice, dirty, grimy feel to it. And it was just inspired from just, the mood I was in for that particular time of the year. And it was produced by producers called the Track Kings, who are responsible for producing platinum songs for Ludacris, as well as Usher, and a few other artists as well. So it was produced by them. And, I just had fun with the song, and I was just feeling myself with the hip-hop, because I've always been a rapper also, and a singer, but I'm a greater singer. But I've never had to fear or shied away from just playing with the hip-hop and doing a song or two.
And also, a few days ago when we were speaking there on Instagram, you mentioned that you were actually going to be venturing into the Great White North to actually do a performance on June 24th of 2022. I was wondering if you can tell us what can our listeners expect from this Winnipeg, Manitoba performance, and of course, where can we actually snag ourselves some tickets if we are in the area to come out and see the one and only Kyle Rifkin live in full effect?
The contract is in my email for me to share all information. I will forward it to you and let you get the information. But it is part of the I Love the 90s. We doing the I Love the 90s tour again. And what happens is they split up some of the artists sometimes. Instead of it being every single artist on the show, like we have Vanilla Ice. We used to have Salt and Pepper on. Now it's Vanilla Ice, Tone Loc, Kid and Play, DJ Cool, All for One, Montel Jordan. It's a CC Music Factory, Freedom Williams. It's a bunch of groups. What they do is they split us up. Sometimes they'll send us to somewhere where it's just us, Tone Loc and Young MC, or just us, DJ Cool, and All for One. So it's one of those. I don't know exactly who the group's on it, but it's an offspring of the I Love the 90s show. And you can expect high energy and dedication to making the crowd feel pleased and part of the performance. They're going to go home pleased. They're going to go home with the opportunity of just reminiscing on the moment they first heard It Takes Two and first heard these particular songs, and just feel good, man. Safe environment and just feel good.
And I gotta say as well, man, like, I really hope you guys actually venture your way down to Ontario, man, because just hearing some of the artists that you just mentioned cram-packed into just one concert, my God, I don't even know if the Ontario stadiums or even arenas, I don't know if their speaker system can handle that without catching on fire, man.
Well, we are doing June the 30th. We're going to be in Vancouver at the Hard Rock Casino. So we're doing that on June 30th.
I gotta say, man, that is definitely going to be phenomenal, man. I've heard phenomenal things about Vancouver. I've never been there personally, but I've heard that it definitely is a phenomenal city, man. So I think you're definitely going to enjoy it if it's your first time there.
All of the people are awesome, man. Everywhere we go in Canada, the people are always awesome. It's just they're just always great. They love to party. We used to spend a lot of time in Toronto, like literally every single weekend for like 5 months. We was flying back and forth to Toronto at a particular time, and we were going through all type of clubs. Club NRG, it was a club called The Hangar, Jokers. It was just a bunch of stuff, and we was touring with BKS, and Chris Shepard was the one that was the spearhead for the tour that we were doing at that time.
But I have to ask, what is next for yourself, Kyle Rifkin? Because I do know, like you mentioned, you're going on tour for the 90s tour and whatnot, but other than that, is there anything we happen to miss? Anything else you do still want to talk about or promote? Well, we still got you here live on 97.7 FM this evening.
But you can check me out at famous Kyle Rifkin on Instagram and regular Kyle Rifkin on Facebook. And right now I'm pursuing a business in doing more voiceovers and narrations for commercials, television, and film. and audio books and things like that, and vocal dubs on hits and things like that. Right now, I just finished a Swiffer Sweeper commercial, a Campbell Soup commercial. We're soliciting a Burger King commercial where it says, "I like the Whopper after Big Mac," and we haven't got a response from them with it. But I've been pushing those type of things. We're more moving in toward the voiceover era, where we want to explore those type of things and be able to have our music in television and film, and not be so concerned about trying to get it on the radio and push it, on into people. We want to just go to a bigger audience, like television and film, right now with the music.
And I have to ask before we wrap things up, man. When you actually said you're doing commercials and whatnot, man, like, is there actually one commercial that you would really, really love to do for a brand? Because I gotta say, just that Burger King commercial, man, they better pick that up, man. Because I'm not gonna lie, that right there would make me go get a Whopper rather than a Big Mac.
But that's the one I really want to do. I want to do the Burger King commercial. I would love for them to just say, you know what, we're going to do the deal with you and make it happen. That's my biggest thing. I want to do the Burger King commercial, and I want to branch into the commercial world with interacting hip hop with it, because hip hop is really the wave. Like, it's fast, it's fun, it's party. It gives you a chance to reminisce, feel good. It's the connection to the world right now. So I think all products should be entertaining the idea of doing things with hip hop artists. And who better than me? I have access to pretty much everybody. And I do the narration and the voiceovers, and I do a lot of the editing and stuff when I'm pitching things for solicitation. I have an LLC company, legitimately insured and licensed and everything, a media company. So I would like to do the Burger King joint first and foremost.
And I gotta say, Kyle, first and foremost, man, thank you so much for just giving us a bit of your time here this evening and sliding into the 97.7 FM airways, man. It's definitely an honor and most definitely a privilege to interview you, man. Like I said, I watched you on America's Got Talent back in the day, man. And just being able to kind of like follow your career as a fan and then get the opportunity to interview you, man, is truly a blessing. So thank you so much for your time this evening, man. And hopefully down the line we can make this happen again sometime soon.
The pleasure is mine, and thank you, man, for giving me the time of day, man. I truly appreciate that. It feels great to be, to matter, to not be invisible. That's the most important thing with this game. You don't want to be invisible, so thank you so much.
Hey, man, you are most certainly welcome, man. Thank you so much again, Kyle, and definitely have yourself a wonderful night.
Much love, brother. Peace.